In my recent review of the Seiko SARX037, I discussed my just feelings towards the SARX series as models that are undoubtedly great value for money picks, but so much so that it tends to lead to me talking about them maybe more than I would want and kind of leaves me a little bit exhausted with them. And I think a lot of that really comes down to the other options that I think a lot of people don't even consider from Seiko at the same price range. The Seiko SARX series is the perfect example of that. And today we look at a SARX model that has been a member of my collection for a year, the SARX045. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to wish all of you health, safety during this pretty crazy time right now. But also I wanted to share a very big announcement. I recently partnered up with eBay for a luxury watch giveaway to give one of you the opportunity to pick any watch from eBay for up to $5,000. I will be announcing the winner in less than a week on my Instagram, where I'll also be hanging out for a bit, answering your questions. In addition, I will also be jumping on a Skype call to congratulate and help the winner pick out their new watch. So if you guys want to enter, click the link in the description of the video and register. Act fast. Good luck to all of you who enter, and big thanks to eBay for sponsoring the giveaway and making this possible. And just based on the logistics, there's some kind of challenges with offering this up to worldwide viewers, just based on what's going on in the world right now. So this is going to be a US only giveaway, but I promise I'll make it up for my international viewers in the future. But if you guys want to join, hit that link in the description. But now to get back to looking at this Seiko SARX045. In this video, I want to cover this watch again to give a complete rundown, as there are many factors about this watch that I love, but I also want to share why this might not be the right choice for you as well. And again, I've done a review on this watch in the past, but considering it was over a year ago, I've had some more time to experience this watch, as well as I think now being able to output better reviews, wanted to revisit this one. First, looking at this watch from a high level, we have a case size of 39.5 millimeters, case thickness of 11.3 millimeters, lug to lug of 48 millimeters, lug width of 20 millimeters. Crystal is sapphire, water resistance of 100 meters, and has an automatic Seiko 6R15D within. When spotlighting the differences of the SARX models from other options within Seiko's catalog, really the level of variance between those come with the SARX models and just how they wear on the wrist, being quite different across the many models. This SARX045, coming with its distinctly designed case of 39.5 millimeters, walks the very fine line of sportiness while still providing a level of dressiness in the dial. Yet it is the underlying elements that tend to make the case lean ultimately sporty, the stark angling of the lugs that give to this watch what aerodynamic curves give to a sports car, and the added large onyx crown that extends out from the crown guards. Despite not wearing small, the watch does wear well across my wrist, falling in the sweet spot of the boundary, a bit on the fringe of my 6¼ inch wrist in terms of its lug to lug, as usually anything over 48 millimeters is where the outskirts of my wrist begin to show their limited real estate. In fact, buying this watch was actually one of the points that helped lead me to welcoming a bit of larger case sizes in my collection, with the addition of the 40mm Rolex Explorer 2 16570 being the purchase that followed this one. In my time with this watch over the last year, this has been a watch that I've grabbed when I was looking for something a bit more casual and was not looking to have something attention grabbing. However, the funny thing is, the watch typically gets more compliments along with my Maxwell Chronoscope and Nomos Orion. Funny how that seems to always work out. Now, at the time of recording this video, I was actually unable to find the bracelet. I don't even know where it's at. I might have an idea, but I'd say probably maybe even the more leading factor in terms of the sportiness here has to be the bracelet on this watch. The bracelet itself was solid for what you're getting, but on a more superficial level, it also looks great in my opinion, with its broad center link that gives off kind of the Zenith DeFi vibes with its design. That said, as I've been going out and about with the SARX in the last 6 months, I've been wearing it primarily on a leather strap and even a few unassuming colored nados that work merely to complement the nicely done dial and lending to a casual wearing experience. Upon purchasing this watch, there were a few things that were allowing me to get over the hump of wanting to pull the trigger. One was just the bracelet design, really liked it. Also just the versatile specs and how I could imagine myself wearing this on many different occasions. But but ultimately the thing that got me over the edge was the dial design. First, it's important to note that of this case style family, there are a few to choose from, and I was on the fence of whether I should opt for this model or the SARX047, an alternative that looks essentially the same across the case, bracelet, with just a subtle difference in the tint of the dial, with the 047 coming in a more blue-green dial. Yet given my hopes for versatility of being a casual wearer in my collection, I decided to opt for this rich blue exhibited here with the 045. The dial at first glance intrigued me and honestly kind of perplexed me, as there were aspects of this that left me questioning what this watch was trying to be. With its sportier case exterior and specs to match, yet slim and ultimately minimal dial, this one threw me for a loop. Yet the more I looked, the more I came to admire this watch's paradoxical identity. To start, the dial finish is quite unordinary for a watch of this $500 price tier. From afar, it looks to match the lined teakwood style finish that occupies many of the Omega Aquaterras, yet marks its differences when looking closely, demonstrating the small bunch of vertically finished lines that provide a level of texture to the dial. The dial with its vivid blue, when combined with the reflecting light off the sapphire crystal, makes this one of, if not the most photogenic watch that I own. At the 12 o'clock, the SARX045 has an applied Seiko logo, the 3, a framed date window, and the 6, the simple writing of automatic, giving the piece a very open dial layout. This is furthered by the thin pointed hour and minute hands and slim second hand, all that match the wonderful applied hour markers across the dial. The markers and hands combine to elevate the watch greatly and just looks great across that textured dial, but also feeds into the juxtaposition created with the case and the dial, as the SARX045 with its restrained dial layout and markers features no lume. A point that never bothered me for a second in my time with it, yet it is an unpopular path taken by many other Seikos in this range, but this path less taken is what helped me arrive on the point of purchasing it to begin with. Flipping the watch over, we have an open case back displaying the typical yet solid movement occupying many of these $400 to $1,000 Seiko models. In function, it acts traditionally, with the first position when the crown is pushed in all the way, allows the user to activate hand winding, as this piece does not have a screw down crown. And from there, you have the opportunity to change the date window at the second position, and at the farthest position, allows the adjustment of all the hands in unison, stopping the second hand in the process. This particular version of the 6R15 is the 6R15D. The movement operates at 21,600 vibrations per hour, or 3 Hertz. For accuracy, we're looking at -15 to +25 seconds per day. This one runs around 6 seconds from perfect time on a daily basis. This was also a hackable movement, as already mentioned, has a Spron mainspring that helps extend the power reserve of this watch to a pretty solid 50 hours. So for this $500 price tier that this watch occupies for everyday watches, it's especially competitive. But of all the watches to choose from, I chose this one. And after a year of owning this watch, many of those same appealing attributes that caught my attention have ridden along throughout this journey with this piece. But given this 1 year recap, I wanted to share objectively kind of the reasons why you might want to buy this watch and why you might not want to buy it. First, a couple points that might make you decide not to purchase it. The watch has a bit of an identity crisis in terms of what it's trying to be. Not sporty enough to necessarily be classified as a true sports watch, despite having many features that would hint that it would be, which in turn might cause it to not be dressy enough. So it will make this watch appeal to a certain lifestyle and use case within a collection. In addition, unlike the SARX033 and the 035 that can still be found for a bit cheaper, I have found that this watch looks exceptional on its bracelet. Yet with the lack of micro adjustment points, it was hard to get it just right. As a result, I started shifting to different straps to pair with this watch, but since the case was clearly made to occupy the bracelet giving the angled lugs, some strap combos don't look as good as they would or maybe on the SARBs, which managed to look good with pretty much every single strap you throw its way. But then to transition to some of the really good pros of this piece, first, the watch itself is more unique than a lot of other Seiko counterparts. It is little secret that there are some JDM Seiko models that are essentially secrets to those even in the watch community. And although I don't want to go as far and say that this watch is completely overlooked, but it certainly is not as popular as other watches that might be considered from the SARX series, Hamilton, as well as Tissot, which to me is a cool point in favor of this watch. Number two, the design and dial finish is quite impressive for the price. It is always a treat when you can have a watch that can surprise you in delivering more than what you might see when it first meets the eye. And in terms of this watch's specs, I don't think there's anything here that is revolutionary. Yet every time I look down at the SARX045 or snap a photo of it, it just simply surprises me with just how well it just translates. And yes, we all know the quality control that can come with Seiko's chapter rings, but when it comes to their Presage models, their SARBs, and their SARX series, I believe this is really where Seiko is at their best at these more affordable price tiers. And finally, it's still an incredibly versatile watch despite its lack of commitment to being fully a sports or dress piece. Typically, when you try doing everything for everybody, you end up actually leaving out more people than you would if you just simply targeted a smaller particular group. Yet despite this watch having some identity issues in terms of what it wants to be, for the right person, this can be a do-it-all kind of piece. With its versatile specs, solid movement, decent power reserve, and looks that can play the game on both ends of the dress and casual spectrum, you're getting one solid watch, one that if you are drawn to, I think you'd be more than happy with your decision to purchase it. All right guys, so what do you think of the Seiko SARX045? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Also, I'd love to see comments down below about maybe the most overlooked Seiko model that you think other people should respect or just be made aware of a little bit more. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Great way to help me out in the channel, so would appreciate that greatly. And also, if you want to join our $5,000 watch giveaway, link in the description. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Happy in this time of just craziness going on with the world to be doing anything that might provide a little bit of fun and excitement. So, I'm really happy for eBay to just approach me with this and making this possible. So thanks again to them. So guys, thank you again for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.